Hello and welcome. We are so glad to have you join us, wherever you may be. I'm Zoe, and this is Chris.
Hi.
Chris and I are product managers on the Flutter team, and we are here to talk about what's new in Flutter. We're going to show you some of the features that we've been working on and announce some new things that we think you will like. As you know, we launched Flutter 2 just a few months ago, and then we've been listening to your early feedback and looking for ways to improve. Therefore, today we are pleased to announce a new stable release. What comes after Flutter 2? Version 2 of Flutter 2. In Flutter 2.2, we're focused on enhancing the quality and productivity of Flutter. It is not about adding a lot of new features. It's about providing a solid foundation for you to build your apps on. In today's keynote, you will hear us talk about how we improved performance, enhanced our testing infrastructure, extended Dart's type alias feature, broadened our no safety support, upgraded developer tooling, and more. Also, you've been telling us that in order to create the best-in-class user experience, you need a strong ecosystem. So we've been working hard to enrich Google's offerings within the ecosystem, such as Material, Google Pay, Ads, and Cloud, and then you will hear these updates later in the keynote as well. Before we talk about the new things in this release, a quick recap of the story so far. Our goal with Flutter has always been providing a UI platform for ambient computing across a range of devices, including mobile, web, desktop, as well as embedded. And then we've been continuing to take further steps along this path by broadening Flutter from a mobile framework to a portable framework with updates to web and desktop. Many of you probably already knew these from our previous Flutter 2 event, but just in case you're new to Flutter, here are a few highlights of what we support now. First, we now have production quality support for the web. This brings Flutter's developer experience and visual app quality to the browser. You can now build apps for iOS, Android, and the browser, all from the same codebase. In addition, a beta version of desktop support was made available on the stable channel behind a configuration flag. This makes it easy for you to try your existing Flutter code on desktop as we move closer to stable quality. The reason why Flutter can be expanded from mobile to web to desktop is because of Dart, which is the secret sauce behind Flutter. Dart No Safety is available on stable as well. With No Safety, you can now remove the largest class of bugs from your code, and as a side bonus, your app can also be smaller and run faster. With each new release, more and more developers join our community. We're grateful that you chose Flutter to develop your apps. As of today, you have added 200,000 Flutter apps to the Google Play Store, with more coming in every day. We're so thankful for the love that Flutter has received from all of you around the world in just a few short years. Many of you have reached out to let us know how Flutter is helpful to you, no matter what you're building or where you're located. I'd like to just share a few examples. Grab, Southeast Asia's leading super app that provides rides, payments, food deliveries, parcel deliveries, financial services, and more. They have deployed Flutter in their flagship app, merchant app, and driver app. Grab has been downloaded more than 200 million times across Android and iOS platforms. Engineers at Grab told us that Flutter reduced at least 1/3 of development time required to build, test, and release new features. Next, the BMW Group had a successful rollout of their Flutter-based My BMW and Mini apps, which are now serving more than 2 million users across 40 markets in 5 continents. 300 engineers develop in Flutter at BMW, and they are literally one of the largest Flutter Dart development teams in the world. Nubank, the largest digital bank outside Asia, has over 35 million customers. Their flagship banking app is also powered by Flutter. Nubank told us that after adopting Flutter, they have greatly reduced their build time. The merge success rate is 30% better compared with native development, with Flutter PRs taking 85% less time to merge compared with non-Flutter PRs. Kotak is one of India's largest financial institutions. They built their trading app Kotak Securities entirely in Flutter and shipped to iOS and Android within 6 months. They're now experimenting with bringing in the same experience to web with one single codebase. Flutter has a huge developer base in China. One example is Tencent. Tencent has more than 20 apps using Flutter, and their biggest super app, WeChat, recently started building with Flutter as well. WeChat is the largest multi-purpose messaging, social media, and mobile payment app in the world. It currently has 1.2 billion users across more than 230 countries and regions. After trying Flutter, the engineers were surprised that the frame rate and memory usage is so much better for dynamic mini-app rendering, especially on low-end devices. Since then, the team started adding new Flutter features in both WeChat for Consumer and WeChat for Work. Here, we're showing a few new features built in Flutter, such as the video editor and the support for virtual conference. Flutter helped the WeChat for Work team reduce about 25% of development time compared to other toolkits, which allows them to add new features much faster. The team plans to adopt Flutter more widely in 2021. Chris, I could go on and on and on about how Flutter is being used and loved by our communities around the world.
I know you can, Zoe. You and I are spoiled by the customers we get to work with on Flutter. It's honestly one of my favorite parts of this job.
Me too. Well, we have a lot more success stories we could share. I think our audience just cannot wait to hear what's going on in Flutter 2 too.
Well, okay then, let's get on with it. On the Flutter team, we're always working hard to take your feedback into account for each new Flutter release. In our research over the last year, you've told us loud and clear that quality is among your top priorities for Flutter. No matter which platforms you're targeting, you care about having a solid foundation to build your apps on. And so in this release, we're focused on fixing issues, optimizing performance, and increasing the utility of the features we announced in Flutter 2. This really is version 2 of Flutter 2. In this release, we focused on a number of areas for optimization. Let's start by exploring improvements in the infrastructure. Just in the last 6 months, we've closed more than 6,000 issues. Even more important than that, however, is the investment we've made in our testing infrastructure, overhauling our processes to ensure that our builds are kept in the green, and nearly doubling the number of device configurations that we're testing against across 5 different operating systems and 4 different browser vendors. Furthermore, at Google, before any code changes in Flutter make their way into even the beta builds, we've already tested against millions of lines of code written by more than 30 Google engineering teams building their own Flutter apps. This focus on quality can be seen in the latest version of Google Pay, for example. The currently available version has been optimized considerably since the beta in November. These updates include reducing the starting memory usage, as well as increasing the performance across the board from database initialization time to rendering speed on low-end devices. Also, as we worked with the Google Pay team, we found several areas of Flutter performance that could be improved across the board. For example, in this release, we've tripled the speed to present the initial page transition for any app targeting iOS. This big investment in our infrastructure and the thorough testing against real-world apps means that you can be confident that new, stable releases are going to be solid. And if you do have issues, those infrastructure changes have also helped us to get fixes to you faster. In fact, in the last 6 months, our turnaround time on critical issues has decreased by more than half. That's not to say that we're done here. We still have key issues to address. Quality is always going to be our top priority for Flutter. We've made some improvements in Dart in this release as well. In response to one of our biggest requests in the Dart 2.13 release that comes with Flutter 2.2, we've generalized type aliases to include both functions and non-functions. This makes it possible to give you nice short names to long, complicated types, and it also lets you rename your classes in a non-breaking way. We think this is going to simplify a lot of your Dart code. On the Dart null safety front, we've been working hard with the broader community to bring null safety into the ecosystem. As of today, more than 80% of the top 1,000 packages have already been migrated. In fact, we're so confident that you're going to have a great experience using null safety with Flutter that as of today, we've made null safety the default for all new Flutter apps. But if you're still not convinced that null safety is for you, I suggest that you check out Bob's talk where he explores the benefits of migrating your app to null safety today. For Flutter itself, we continue to improve our platform support. On the web front, in addition to fixing issues, we've optimized caching behavior for PWAs so your app reloads more predictably, improved our support for mouse events like dragging, and we continue to be amazed by what people can do with Flutter on the web. In this example, Rafael Barboza has moved his mobile Sunny Place game, and it's shown here running on the web at full speed using the CanvasKit renderer. He built the game using his own Bonfire game engine, and it's 100% Flutter. We continue to see that Flutter makes it easy for people to build new apps quickly while still providing their users with rich interactions. Plus, Flutter on the web makes it effortless to deploy your app so that your users have a seamless onboarding experience. As another example of the power of Flutter Web, I'd like to introduce Abel and Alex, co-founders of Flutterflow.
Hey Google I/O, I'm Abel.
And I'm Alex.
Today, we're excited to announce Flutterflow, a low-code tool for building Flutter apps all in your browser. Our goal is to give Flutter developers superpowers. Flutterflow lets you build apps faster, easier, and with less code. We built all of this thanks to the power of Flutter Web, and we're excited to give you a sneak peek.
So first, we're going to start by showing you an app we built in Flutterflow called FlutterMet. FlutterMet lets you search for art exhibits at the world-famous Metropolitan Museum of Art by title or department, and keeps track of your favorite exhibits or those you want to check out. As you can see, my collection currently needs some love. Let's do a quick search and see what we get. So I can tap on a search result, see a preview of the exhibit, and also view all the information about the exhibit. I'll add this artwork to my collection. Now, let's go back to the home screen and check out my favorite department and show. So since this is pretty much the coolest chair I've ever seen, I'll also add it to my collection. Now I'll go to my collections page and verify that all of my favorites are there. So now we've shown you FlutterMet, we'd like you to guess how long it took to build in Flutterflow. So all of this took one of us less than 1 hour to build, end to end. To see the entire process, check out our YouTube video on the Flutterflow channel called Building FlutterMet. Now, let's take a look at the project in Flutterflow. So here we have the UI builder, and we can take a look at all of the pages in the app. In addition, this project uses Firebase authentication, Firestore, and API requests using the Met API for all the exhibit data. We're just getting started with Flutterflow, and there's a lot more coming in the following weeks and months. Thanks to the power of Flutter and Flutter Web, we've been able to move far quicker than we could have possibly imagined.
We'd like to give a huge thank you to Google, the Flutter team, our early access users, and our supporters. Our goal is to bring the power of Flutter to the masses. We want to enable you to build tomorrow's apps today, faster, easier, and with less code. So join us in this movement. To get started, go to flutterflow.io. Thanks.
Flutterflow seems really great. I may see a tweet every week asking for a Flutter layout tool.
Totally. It's great to see what Flutterflow has built here, and they've built it in Flutter.
And what about that game Rafael built? I didn't know you could build stuff like that in Flutter.
Well, sure you can, and wait until you hear more about what's going on with desktop. Today, the desktop beta is available on the stable channel behind a configuration flag. This allows you to quickly and easily try your apps on desktop without the time-consuming step of moving to a different channel. Thank you for giving us a bunch of feedback on Flutter Desktop, and then we have listened. Therefore, I am pleased to announce a greatly improved beta for Flutter for Windows, macOS, and Linux. In addition to bug fixes and performance improvements, this release includes the beginning of a complete re-architecture of text handling to support advanced scenarios. This includes the ability to cancel a keyboard event as a bubble through the widget hierarchy, and it gives you complete control over the key mappings in the text view widgets. We've got more work to do to support accessibility, system menu integration, and multiple top-level windows. You can expect to see these features and more in future releases soon. While we continue to work towards a stable release for desktop, we are also experimenting with desktop running on new platforms. This includes Apple's M1 chip and Microsoft gaming devices. In fact, as of today, we are pleased to share that we've made it possible to create Flutter apps using Microsoft's UWP. This feature is available on the dev channel as an early alpha, but don't let that keep you from building your apps to run on your own Xbox. As you move your apps from mobile to web and to desktop, you will want to make sure to consider input modes and platform-specific idioms as well as screen size. For the details on best practices, be sure to check out Kevin's talk on building platform-adaptive apps in Flutter. Of course, Flutter won't be Flutter without the tools, and we made some improvements there too. When it came to helping the Google Pay team track down memory usage errors in their beta, we found that we needed updates to our tooling. So we added 2 new features to the Memory tab in Flutter DevTools. The first is the ability to track down where an object was allocated, so if it's leaked, you know what code did the allocation. The second is the ability to inject custom messages into the memory timeline so that you can provide markers specific to your app. As your apps get larger, we will continue to build the optimization features you need to keep them running well. However, Flutter is more than just a framework and tools. You've been telling us that in order to create the best-in-class user experience, you need a strong ecosystem as well. Therefore, we've been working hard to enrich Google's offerings within the ecosystem. Building beautiful applications has been a core part of Flutter's DNA. Flutter makes it easy to create adaptive, flexible, and beautiful visuals. We've continued to work closely with Material Design to ensure our developers are building with the latest guidance and updates, including support for large screens such as navigation wheel and other adaptive improvements. Our friends from Material Design have been working on their next design evolution. The new Material Design is spirited, with surfaces that stretch, shimmer, and move as they respond to the user's touch. We are committed that you will have 100% coverage of the new design guidance by the time Material ships later this year. Stay tuned and check our developer channels to catch the latest. Next, we know it's important for you to be able to monetize your apps, and we are bringing you a few updates today to let you do that in different ways. Let's start with ads. As you know, Google Mobile Ads SDK for Flutter is already available in open beta. Thousands of Flutter developers have already started monetizing their apps with the GMA SDK. We're delighted to share a few updates. First, we have migrated the plugin to support Null safety. Next, Flutter now supports the latest version of the iOS GMA SDK, which prepares you for the app tracking transparency enforcement, as well as improves ad performance. Last but not least, due to popular demand, we add a new ads format, Adaptive Banner. Adaptive Banner is the next generation of responsive ads, which helps maximize ads performance by optimizing ad size for each device. We hope you will enjoy the updated version of the GMA SDK for Flutter. All right, now let's move on to direct payment. Google Pay has such a great experience building with Flutter. Now they decided to broaden their support for the entire community. Today, we're excited to announce that Google Pay is launching a new payment plugin for Flutter, which allows developers to use Google Pay on Android and Apple Pay on iOS. This allows you to write your code once for both platforms while making it easy for your users to pay for things like groceries, retail merchandise, and food delivery. The plugin is open source, and you can head to pub.dev today to check it out. We're eager to work with the community to expand to more payment providers and platforms in this plugin in the future. By the way, Google Pay is going to host a tech talk later to walk you through the steps in adding payment plugin to your Flutter apps. Be sure to check it out. Now you know that Google Pay is great when you're selling physical items or services. But if you want to sell digital items, such as game coins or virtual items within your app, you will need to use the in-app purchase mechanism built into Google Play or the iOS App Store. We've supported this scenario with a beta version of the in-app purchase plugin for a while, and then we've heard from many of you about the need for production quality and a better workflow to integrate it into your app. We are very happy to announce that in-app purchase is moving to production quality. We have re-architected the plugin, addressed top issues on GitHub, updated our documentation, and also designed a new collab. With these updates, we hope it will be much easier for you to integrate in-app purchase into your app. Give it a try today.
It's pretty great to see that Flutter developers are able to fund their products with ads, payments, and in-app purchases, Zoe.
Absolutely.
It sounds like Flutter puts the fun in funding.
Very funny. Thank you, Chris.
On that note, we've got a little bit more to talk about. We understand applications are rarely used standalone. They use services like ads and authentication and messaging to build connected experiences. We've done a lot of work to make sure that you can get to these services on the Google Cloud Platform from your Flutter app. To tell you more about this, I'm going to pass you over to Kevin, yet another PM on the Flutter team.
While most folks likely think of Dart as the programming language used for building beautiful client applications with Flutter, many of the features that make it great for user interfaces also make it great for building server applications. Let's look at two examples. Dartpad is a web-based editor for single-file Dart and Flutter demos. It's embedded in Flutter and Dart documentation to allow users to try out concepts as they are presented. Dartpad handles thousands of concurrent users while providing real-time syntax analysis and fast compilation to JavaScript. Pub.dev is the community package site for Dart and Flutter. It contains tens of thousands of packages and hundreds of thousands of package versions. Pub.dev handles millions of requests per day while coordinating quality analysis and documentation generation for every uploaded package. Thousands of concurrent users, millions of daily requests, mission-critical infrastructure for the Flutter ecosystem, all built with Dart on Google Cloud. So how can you get started? Well, Dart provides Docker images for all of our releases. It's easy to spin up a container with the latest SDK from a Docker file. How easy? About 10 lines of code across 3 files. In fact, we found some interesting overlap between the work on client application development and deploying servers. The Dart SDK comes with a full set of development tools out of the box. This is great for developers, but can add a lot of unneeded weight to a server container. This is where the Dart ahead-of-time compilers come in. Using the same tools we created to make native Flutter applications small and fast, we're able to compile a server application down to just the bits needed at runtime. For a simple server application, we've seen almost a 70 times drop in deployed image sizes. This means quicker deployments and faster scale-up in serverless environments. Serverless environments like Google Cloud Run. Cloud Run lets you deploy any containerized application. It supports fast scale-up and scale down to 0, so you only pay when your application is handling traffic. In about 5 minutes, you can have a Dart service hosted on Cloud Run with push to deploy from GitHub. I invite you to check out dart.dev/go/cloud to learn more.
Thanks, Kevin. If you enjoyed Kevin's sneak peek, be sure to check out his full talk later, where he's going to provide a deep dive into how you can integrate Google APIs into your Flutter apps and Dart services. And there's lots more Flutter going on at I/O. You can watch 6 deep dive technical talks, participate in 5 hands-on workshops, and ask questions in 2 AMA sessions. There's also a blog post covering the technical details of the topics we've discussed today. Also, don't forget to have your picture taken with Dash in the Flutter photo booth. In the Flutter 2.2 release, we focused on quality from infrastructure to ecosystem to ensure that you have a solid foundation to build your apps on. We continue to be humbled by the amazing things that developers build with Flutter. And so, we're going to leave you with this final story on the STARE app from the U.S. Department of Veterans Affairs.
When I was in high school, many of my friends were recruited into the Marines, the Army, the Navy, and I saw them coming back and struggling with classic symptoms of PTSD. I really wanted to be a part of providing that care and thinking about creative ways we can help this population.
When I first got home, I felt very out of place. It was hard to be around people just going about their daily lives. Things have happened, you've seen things, you've experienced things that are just not normal run-of-the-mill. It took time to ratchet down that high alert state that you put yourself in for so long.
The VA wanted to create an app that could catch people in the moment so they could manage those anxiety symptoms. The STARE app is a tool that they can pull out of their pocket, and it will give them tips in the moment to do so.
The app helps remind me to take a deep breath, exercise, change my behavior. The biggest thing I learned that works for me personally was mountain biking. Just getting out in nature, clearing my mind.
We started working with the VA 10 years ago, creating products focused on mental health and specifically on PTSD. Stir has been the first real big app that we use Flutter for. The federal government requires us to develop apps that are fully accessible. With Flutter, we didn't know how that was going to be. We bet on it and we won. It makes a huge difference having one single code base. It saves us at least 30% of our development time. Working with Flutter, a lot of frustration that goes into the development has been removed. So we worked more hours on creating better content, and the result is a stronger app.
People say that they stumbled on this app just randomly, and it's the thing that gets them through the day. It's really a gift of hope that this app provides.
Every app that we create with the VA is one step forward in terms of better integration between digital solutions and mental health. It's very rewarding.
When I finally realized that you have control over how you feel and how you take in the world around you, that was very empowering. Now you can create a path of the life that you want.